A negative times a positive will always equal a negative. A positive times a positive will always equal a positive. I'm not talking math here. Stay with me. Now let's apply this to three different situations. A negative in this situation is you're trying to change. You know social media is bad for you. You're addicted to it. That's the negative. The positive is you're trying to change. But let's say once in a while you go on, you doom scroll for a little bit. So you're not really changing. You're overconsumed. You're comparing yourself to other people. And what happens over time? That negative outweighs the positive. And so what happens? You get a negative. Nothing happens. You're back at ground zero. Now let's go to scenario two. You're spending more than you make, but you want to invest. The negative being in that situation is you're overspending. The positive is you want to invest. Now, what happens when you spend more than you make? You're not going to have enough capital to invest. That's what happens. And so over time, that positive that you had turns into a negative because those habits that you're building does not allow you to build good habits. So what we have to do is we have to eliminate the bad before we start the good. Now, scenario three, having a toxic partner is the negative, but you want to have a peaceful life. That's the positive. But toxic people don't like peace, and non-toxic people like peace. And so what happens when you put them together? A negative times a positive will always equal a negative, so it will not work out. What happens when we get a positive and a positive? This is what happens. Okay, so let's say one positive is you want to save more than you spend. Okay, we got that. The other positive is you want to invest more. Okay, that's perfect. So let's say over 10-year span, you save more than you spend, and because of that, a result of that is you have more capital. And what happens when we have more capital? We can invest more money. And so because of that, that other positive that you had in sight is conquered. We've got that. We slayed that beast. All right. So because you save more than you spend and you wanted to invest, you had that goal in mind. Two positives equal a positive. That first positive being you saved more than you spend. That second positive being that you wanted to invest more money. Now, the result of that is you save more than you spend, and because of that, your investments have grown. Let's say over a 10-year span, you've accumulated a great amount of money because you had those two positives and you put them together, and that equals a positive. Now, let's move towards relationships. It's a big one for a lot of people. Now, let's say you have a girlfriend, and let's say you have a guy and a girl. They want to become boyfriend and girlfriends. Let's say the first positive is they want to put for all the effort into each other, and that's what they do. The second positive is they want to get married. Now, what happens? They treat each other well, they're loyal to each other, they don't cheat, they don't do any of that stuff. They're just good people to each other. Over time, that action compounds into the other action. Over time, when you treat someone well, you do everything for them. That builds, or not builds, that's the first sign. Okay, maybe I can take this person serious. Maybe marriage. And so because you did action A, action B co-aligns. It's a compounding interest sort of thing. And now the result of two positives coming together is you guys are peaceful, you have built a family, you built things together because you guys took the proper steps to build two positives equal a positive. That is what I call it compounding action, but it's really just math. And so this is the only good thing about math. Now let's say a negative and a negative. Let's start off with relationships per se. Let's say you get one shitty person who has no aspirations, and let's say that shitty person meets another shitty person with no aspirations. Now, what happens when two people have the same visions? Most of their habits co-align with each other. Their brains wired the same way. What happens? It works together. It works really well. And now some people might be appalled, like, what? How can that work if they're bad people? Because a negative times a negative always equals a positive. If two people are on the same frequency, you put them together, they're still going to end up on the same frequency because they're dating the same person. They have the same habits. They have the same tendencies. They think the same. You put those two together, that equals a positive. So it's bound to work. Let's say you have someone who's addicted to a certain thing. Let's say a drug, for example. Let's say it's just marijuana. Okay, this person's addicted to marijuana. That's the action. That's the negative right there. But let's say person A, has nothing going for them. They're not motivated. They don't want anything out of life. They're just stuck. They're content with the bad situation that they have. You get those two bad things, the drug and the person. You put them together, they're going to equal a positive. Why? Because you have a bad drug and a bad motivated person. You put those things together, they're a match made in heaven because a negative times a negative equals a positive. It's always going to be the same thing. Now, those are just specific scenarios I listed, but you could also apply them to various scenarios, various people's lives, everything. But let's talk about mine for a second. Now, I say I want to make videos, right? I want to post on YouTube, I want to post on Instagram, I want to post on TikTok. And my goal was not to post for validation, not to post for the saves, the likes, the retweets, any of those sort of things. I was just gonna post it, be consistent, be content with what I have, the likes, the followers. I wouldn't care about it. But over time, I noticed that I was like, oh fuck, like I had this one video that popped off for 100K, and then ever since, I've been trying to recreate that not self esteem, but that dopamine rush I would have with, oh, I had like 10 new followers today, 5 new followers within the hour. And I've been self consciously lying to myself saying, oh, no, it's not about the followers, but it really is to me. And so, me recognizing that, me noticing that, I was like, okay, I'm not going to use social media unless I'm posting a video. And so, today is my day one of that. And the first day I've not checked social media, like I deleted TikTok. I don't have Twitter. The only social media I use is Instagram. That's the only platform I use. And so I've been using that, not today, but in the past. But today I decided, okay, I'm not going to use it, and so I haven't. And I wouldn't say I have more time on my hand, but the thought of the FOMO of missing out, seeing if I have new followers, has definitely not hit me, which is great. And I hope this continues. I hope I don't have any slip ups or any temptations during this. I'm trying to get to at least 2 months of just straight posting on social media whenever I need to, and then getting off that, not checking anything. And this could also apply to finances. But my account is mainly for finances, so let's apply that to those terms. Okay. For me, I say that I want to invest $500 every month, no matter what, no matter how much money I bring in, no matter what my net and my gross is. And so I started investing in late December, I believe, late December. And so I've been on that goal, $500 a month. But I noticed recently I've been more into impulse buying and less investing, which is not good. I bought a subscription for $15 that I instantly regretted. I bought this soccer jersey and another one, which is not bad because I barely buy anything. So I was like, oh, let me treat myself. But then after, I was like, darn, like, why did I do that? Like, I could have put that $70 towards investing, could have bought some stocks, especially during this moment now where everything's dipping. I could have bought some stocks. I could have done that. But it was another buy where I was like, oh, maybe people will see me in this jersey. Maybe people will be like, oh, he looks good in that. I really didn't need the jersey. I already have three, and I never wore them. I have an Mbappe one, a Neymar one, and a Ronaldo Nazario. Like, those are three good kits to have, and I barely use them. And I just bought the Zidane one. Zidane's one of my favorite players. Was like, did I really need this jersey? Did I really need the Chicharito jersey? No, I didn't. And so I, with the subscription, the jerseys, I've also been wanting to buy some Air Force Ones because I'm like, fuck, it'll look good with black jeans in this jersey. It'll look good with the Chicharito jersey and some blue jeans. So I've been in the mindset of buying, consuming when I know I shouldn't be because it doesn't align with what I want. It doesn't align with the better future that I have for myself, that I envision for myself. So I've been needing to do this myself. It's not just me, like it's not just y'all. I mean, it's me also. And so I know I post videos on Instagram and TikTok about bettering yourself. I still need to do it. So don't just take it as, oh, he's talking because he knows. No, I'm talking because I'm going through it with y'all and talking about a negative and a positive because that's what we're here for, right? A negative and a positive, a positive and a positive, a negative and a negative. It's all about building the habits. Everything comes down to habits. Can you build good habits, and can you build a good vision or goal to go after? Because let's say you don't have that vision or goal, but you have the habit. What are you working towards really? You're just putting in work and that you don't even know what it's going towards. Like you're putting up empty calories, you're putting up empty stats. If I'm a winning player putting up 30 points a game, but I'm on a losing team, am I really like is like the goal really being reached? Because the goal is to win at the end of the day. But if I'm putting up empty calories, good points on a bad team, we're not going to be winning. We're going to be losing. So it's going to feel like darn, like I'm doing it for no reason. Like I'm doing really good, but I don't know what I'm going towards. You need to have a goal. A positive can only be a positive if you have something to reach. If you get what I'm trying to say. A negative is always going to be a negative at the end. A negative and negative will always be easier to get than a positive and positive, just because everything we do in our daily lives are consumed to like put us down, make us do dumb things that are not going to help us, make us build bad habits. And so subconsciously, you're doing that. It's easier to build bad habits than they are good habits. If you want to better your life, are you really going to be doom scrolling 4 hours a day on TikTok or Instagram? No, you're not going to be doing that unless you want to build bad habits. So if you are a person with low self-esteem, over comparing yourself, you don't know what you want to do, you're unmotivated, of course having doom scrolling time for 4 hours is going to be good for you. It's going to feel good because a negative and a negative equals a positive. you pull those forces together, it's going to create one. And I know people are going to be like, oh, why is he always saying that? That's not true. It is true. When have you ever seen a rich person overspend and overconsume? And negative and positive was equal to negative. You cannot have those two equally positive. It's just mathematically like not possible, you know?